doing. Literally what we're doing.
Yeah, but that's because
I'm missing the point.
They spent 200 million quid on 2 midfield players, but they have to sell Conor Gallagher.
What he's saying is it's because of the club's mismanagement in the first place, which is right. But it's wrong that they're incentivising the sale of academy.
It's beneficial to the club to sell a homegrown player. It's almost like an unlevel playing field if you're a homegrown player compared to someone who they've brought in and costs money. This guy is going to get moved on quicker.
Yeah.
When that's his club. You think of Conor Gallagher now.
Yeah.
That's his club. That's where he's come through.
Oh, no, I get
and he's
it.
the one who's actually going to be sold or maybe moved on because of the rules.
In Chelsea's situation, but if it was happening at Spurs at the moment, we wouldn't be forced to sell that academy player.
But they spent. They went and bought Enzo.
No.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying in that they've got themselves into that position in the first place. That's the big problem. Yeah, I totally get that. But the solution can't be easy. My point is, the academy player can't be the solution to that problem.
No.
It's got to be an unequal footing with everybody else in that
that's not
squad.
right.
I get they need to sell someone. I get that. But it shouldn't be. I know they put themselves in it. Oh my God!
Just stay on Chelsea. Chelsea last summer, they go and not only they obviously bought Enzo before that, but they go and buy Caicedo, and then they go and through ego just go and buy Lavia on the last day of the transfer window for 54 million quid. But then they have to sell Conor Gallagher like because they didn't need Lavia. I mean, he's not even played a game from anyway.
I don't understand what's so frustrating about what I'm saying.
Flav, you're missing the point, though.
Am I?
What we're saying is, it shouldn't be
it's a shame.
It shouldn't be that we're in this position where
it's wrong.
Conor Gallagher has to get raised up and sold.
It needs to change.
Yeah, but how do you change something if you?
But it needs to change. There's no way.
Because there's no money being invested in the player. You can't change it. It has to be this way. I'm not saying it's right.
What
or
you're
wrong.
saying
It's not right that an academy player is the one that
it may not be
fixes the book.
What we're saying is, as a strategy, there's something that feels wrong about it. When you actually are, basically, to fuel a football club, you're having to produce players just to sell them, and they can never play for your club properly because actually you need to get the money in from. That's what we're saying. That as a strategy and a tactic, it just doesn't feel like football's going in the wrong direction if that's the way in which we think it. If the top 6 clubs are having to sell their academy talents, if Manchester United have to sell their academy talents this summer, I would say that is, to be fair, the worst thing that I would ever possibly see at United, to see their young players produce the first team to be sold to fund the shit they brought in.
Well, that's
absolutely,
especially if you don't want to sell that player.
Absolutely, we know that at the top, but the solution can't be that.
What's the alternative, though?
How do we bridge it, though?
I'm talking about academy players.
I completely agree with you. But my point is, as Flav said, like you look at the business model of it, it makes sense on an economics basis. But what's the alternative if you're going to force people to profit and loss? Then obviously an academy player is 100% profit. If you're incentivising profit above everything else, then that's the bottom line, realistically. Unless there's an alternative that works, I'm not sure.
The alternative can only be what you said before, which is change that anyway. Yeah. Because if clubs are trying to do the right, and everyone should, and you're right about the running with from Everton's perspective, but Everton's wages has gone down, Everton's amortisation have gone down, Everton's squad has got the squad they had in 21 player-wise to what it is now is decimated, which is people go, why are Everton in relegation? And they weren't. We'll go and have a look at what's happening there. So they're moving towards it, but the only way as a balance for a league, I think, is to do what
I don't know if I've ever explained this. I don't know if you know, there are 4 different sustainability rules in every league in England. So League 2, League 1, Championship and Premier League. Premier League is 3 years, 105 million. Yeah. Championship, I think you can lose a maximum of 13 million a season. It might be 15, but it's 13 or 15 million a season. That's the Championship rule. Completely different than the Premier League. Yeah. League 1, the owners have to put a business plan in at the start of the season, and if there's a shortfall and there's a loss, they have to put a letter of support in to say that they can basically get the money. League 2, so what happens at League 2, because obviously I've been in League 2 quite a few years now, unfortunately, so you have to put a business plan at the start of the season, and let's say we're £2 million, because they look at your revenue from the year before, they look at the commitment of players that you're going to buy this season, and they say, right, okay, you've got a shortfall, a loss here that's £2 million. We have to put that cash in up front.
Is that why you're looking for new investors?
It doesn't matter, because in League 1 and Championship, you still have to put the cash in eventually. But in League 2, you have to put the cash in up front.
Right, okay.
Right? If you put that cash in and you go and spend more money on players, they stop you registering a player.
Yeah.
They stop you registering a player because you're breaching the sustainability rules. League 2 is the best operated league, in my opinion. in the whole of the Football League system, because it actually prevents owners going spending more money than the cash that they've put in to cover their losses. Every other league's got a different set of rules. In League One, they have a different. It's unbelievable. So the whole of the football sort of sustainability rules should be similar principles.
Would you do that, right? Would you do that in the Premier League then? So if it was whatever, you need 200 million for your club to survive this season. You have to be able to.
So I went along at the beginning with the owners should be able to spend what they want. But then I had a session for about 2. I wrote a book a couple of years ago, and I had a session with Steve Parish for about 4 hours in his office. And he, to be fair, made me change my mind. I had a session with Andy Holt, did some work on it from Accrington. Andy Holt believes that your revenue, you should only ever be able to spend 60% of your revenue on players, and you shouldn't be able to lose money. That clubs should be sustainable. That's what he believes. Yeah. Steve Parish said that if you allow complete freedom of spending, how do I, Steve Parish as a football club, ever compete with Abu Dhabi or Saudi Arabia when they've got trillions of pounds? You talk about states, not billionaires, trillionaires, who could literally just go and do whatever they wanted. So he said there has to be a cap.